What's going on, guys? It's Snoo603 for Shustybang, bringing you today a video I've actually been working on for like the past 2 weeks, kind of trying to hash out my final thoughts. I want to talk about game modes that I want to see for Battlefield 4. So one of my biggest complaints about Battlefield 3 is the lack of truly unique game modes. Right now, what we have for game modes is Rush, Conquest, Team Deathmatch, several variations of those three, Capture the Flag, Gunmaster, Air and Tank Superiority, and Scavenger. Really, we only actually have 7 unique game modes, and me personally, I think some of those aren't even that unique. So to elaborate on that, if you look at Air and Tank Superiority, they're just vehicle-only versions of Conquest. So personally, I'm going to take that one away, as when I said 7 unique game modes, I counted those as one, both Air and Tank Superiority, just as technically one game. It's the same thing, just either tanks or jets. Scavenger is basically another version of Conquest as well, or more accurately, a version of Conquest Domination, but that's just a different version of Conquest in the end anyway, so I'm not going to count that either. Really, by my count, when looking at the game modes available to us currently now in Battlefield 3, there's really only 5 game modes that are completely different and unique unto themselves. For Battlefield 4, I am totally fine with all of these game modes coming back. I don't like or just don't care for most of them, but no others do, so I say bring it back for them. It's not like I have to play them. What game modes do I want to see, and more importantly, why, when it comes to Battlefield 4? Pardon me for a second while I reach back into my COD roots, but I want to see Search and Destroy. Now calm down and don't flip your tits just yet, and let me explain. Search and Destroy, as I understand it, didn't even originate in COD, so if you think it's a COD-only game, think again. Search and Destroy also epitomizes teamwork. If you want to do well in that game, you have to work very closely with your team, and you have to have your shit together at all times. When Fake Thriller and I played this in COD 4 with Veggie 530 and others, we dominated because we've always been really good about teamwork and communication, and that's what you need to succeed. In its essence, that's what Battlefield has always been all about. Also, I like that it has the elimination factor to it, so it really makes it stand apart from the other game modes currently available in Battlefield 3. There are things I don't care about seeing from COD though, like the final kill cam every round. Yeah, it's kind of see how it ended, but it's not necessary, so I don't really want to see that actually come back. They do have to make it so you can spectate any of the players in your team when you're dead as well, but not give you a free cam. Being able to spectate teammates allows you to continue to help them hopefully succeed, but giving a free cam would be too easy to find and point out enemies, and that would really take away from the game. If you still think I'm stupid for thinking that S&D or some variation of that has a place in Battlefield, to me, I really think you're just definitely a hater and a Battlefield snob, and you're too close-minded about different game modes. So like I said, Search and Destroy epitomizes what teamwork is all about, and that's what Battlefield prides itself in, right? Being a team-based game. This game mode belongs here. Also, if we got it, it doesn't make the game too much like COD. One game mode doesn't change the entire feel, pace, and everything about a game. Now, another game mode that I want to see is Commander. I should say more appropriately, I want to see something return is Commander. Now, I will be honest, I've never played the game mode. I heard rumors of its return, and I had to look it up, but when I read what it was, I got a mean nerd chubby. As I understand it, it's a standalone game mode, so if I'm wrong on this, correct me. But for those that don't know what Commander mode is, it's pretty straightforward, and this is how it worked in Battlefield 2 in a condensed version. Both teams have a commander, which is basically like a team captain. Anyone can be their team's commander, but priority is given to those with a higher rank. The commander gets to see a special screen that only they can see. That shows them the entire map, along with player locations, and they can even zoom in on certain spots to see what's going on in real time. The commander also has control of various commander assets, which include artillery strikes, vehicle and supply drops, and UAVs, which they can deploy to assist their team. The commander can tell squads what to do by sending out commands, or talking to them via the in-game voice chat. If you're a shitty commander, you can be voted out, which is an awesome feature to have. That's really it in a nutshell, though. So, it seems like a lot of work, but me personally, I'd love to have a game like this. Far too many times have I been in a game where my team loses track of what they're doing, and we end up losing because there's no freaking communication or too many stupid mistakes. A big problem is people simply not acting when they need to. Everyone's been in that game where your team's just kind of milling about, not sure what to do, and you end up losing because of that, because no one can be decisive, and they just can't decide what to do or where to go. Playing Commander would be awesome because this is truly, above anything else, it epitomizes teamwork, and it's so vastly different from everything that we have available to us now in Battlefield 3. My last suggestion for new game mode is I want to see them adopt the game mode Hotspot from Medal of Honor Warfighter. Yes, that game was and still is broken and it had more issues than not, but it did do a few things right, and one of those was that it had a lot of good game modes to choose from right at launch. For those that don't know, and the easiest way to describe it, Hotspot is kind of like Rush meets Conquest, but with one objective at a time. Now, to elaborate, the hotspot, or the objective, location spawns randomly according to the attacking team's perspective, but the defending team knows where it is automatically. And it's a best of 5 rounds, if you will. The game never stops, but there's going to be 5 objectives or hotspots to destroy. If you attack it / destroy it 3 times, then you win. If you defend it 3 times, then you win. So it can go, obviously, it's a best of 5. It can go either 3 rounds, 4, or 5. It's pretty simple. So what I liked about this game mode was that it did require a shit ton of tactics. It's very similar to Rush in that fact, but it was really, really fast-paced and hectic. Yeah, I know sometimes games of Rush can really get out of hand, but Hotspot, to me, was really, really fast-paced and non-stop. It's a really simple game mode, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can see this game working really well pretty much every map currently in Battlefield 3. Like, if they're adopting right now, I can see it fitting in very well, with or without vehicles, but I think it would be best suited to having a minimum amount of vehicles to keep it from being too much of a camp fest, kind of like what Capture the Flags become. You get someone that picks up a flag in the tank, and then they just sit back in the objective, and that's it. That's pretty much the game. So at this point, those are really what I want to see added to the current game modes we already have. Like I said, a lot of what we have now are just rehashes of other existing game modes. I think that just by adding 2 or 3 game modes, completely unique when compared to the other game modes already in Battlefield 3, that will go a long way to making the game last a lot longer. Most importantly though, these game modes need to be available to us on the day of release. Not released on random DLCs down the line, because that's BS. That does nothing to add to the game mode. There's, it's kind of like what we just saw here with Capture the Flag. It was so late after the game has come out that so many people had lost interest in the game that at that point, a game mode's not going to save the game's interest. But I think having it from the get-go will make the game last longer than if you try and, spin them along with here's new game mode every couple of months. But that's just my opinion on it. That's going to wrap it up. I'd love to hear some suggestions from you guys on what new, completely different game modes you would like to see in Battlefield 4. That's the key. Something completely different, not a rehash of what we already have. So if you do me a favor and leave a like, I would greatly appreciate it. More importantly, if you could share the video with your friends and have them leave some feedback as well, I would appreciate that as well. Thanks guys for listening to Ramble. I will catch you later.